Alright, first things first, before we get started, we need a clean workspace. So I'm going to start cleaning some of this up because every one of these things is a trip hazard and I'm going to knock my head on something and then that'd be terrible. But it's like 30 degrees, but there's no wind, so it's not near as cold in my shop as I thought it was going to be. So this jacket's coming off because I am already slightly warm. Alright, let's get things moving. Hey look, a cup of water I left out here. Later. I don't remember where these wires go because I'm not labeling them, but they kind of can only go in one place, just how they're set up. We decided to replace this because that is not an OEM valve cover gasket. It does look new, but guarantee you that means that was going to leak a little bit. Because if you replace these, you cannot replace them with anything but OEM. So, okay, it does look brand new. It looks like it just did this, but I don't trust it. Here's a little spot. Yeah, I'm glad we went into this. And that's pretty clean. I mean, there's a little buildup, but nothing crazy. Yeah. All right, let's get this thing taken care of. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to clean the valve cover off really good under here too, just to get all this buildup off. These look brand new. I'm pretty sure he just did that job, but there's no way of really knowing that. So I'm glad I still went in and found out, otherwise you really just don't know. Alright, got all these bolts off. Now I get this valve cover off. Oh, wait, is there one more back there? My bulletproof method of keeping dust out of here. Oh yeah. That 100% dust tight. Nothing's getting in there. Oh, that side's a little more gunked up. So it's been a couple days. The weather has been freezing cold and I have been working nonstop. So we're finally back in here to keep cleaning these off. I cleaned them up really good. There's still some gunk, and since I started breaking it loose, now I'm scared it's gonna break loose and fall into the engine. So I really wanna try to clean these spotless. So I went and picked up some more brushes, some smaller like brass brushes for rotary tools so I can get in little nooks and crannies. So we're just gonna keep cleaning, see how this goes. I guess, well, maybe I could post this as like a short or something and try to get some more input, but basically, from looking around, there's not too much great stuff to cut. I mean, this engine had 300,000 miles and this is a lot of gunk buildup. So I'm using like the purple super clean, or I don't think I have the big jug in here. Some people said that's okay, you just gotta make sure you rinse it off with water. It kind of breaks loose the grease. Other people has like a super clean, like a green, some sort of green cleaner is better for aluminum or something like that. And if you have something that you think works or you know works, post it in the comments, let me know. Maybe I'll see it before I'm done with this. All right, before my hands get actually dirty, I'm gonna open up this water bottle and set it somewhere so I can drink from it. That looks like a clean-ish spot. I think I got the heads cleaned up how I want them. Not the heads, the valve covers. So I'm gonna set those to the side, and we're gonna pull the cam plugs and the half moons, clean up all that, and go from there. It was cleaned up decently nice. I actually ended up putting a can of B12 Chem Tool, which is like old school seafoam before the government ruined everything. So actually, I don't really know that. I think it's effective like seafoam. It's just older. It was the original seafoam. We'll go with that. But I poured that in the valve covers and brushed that. It actually came up pretty good with that. And I got like some wire wheels on a rotary tool and kind of cleaned out the nooks and crannies. So it seems to be clean, and I blasted it really good to where anything that's loose is off, anything that's still there is not coming off, so that way it doesn't fall off in the engine. But yeah, let's get to the cam plugs. All right, so this is my handy dandy dust cover. Totally dust and debris proof. All right, so got the cam plugs here and here. I'm gonna need to take off, and then I got the half moons there and there. So we'll work one side at a time. We'll get these off, get this cleaned up, and yeah, go from there. All right, so I've made these super duper safe pliers to grab the cam plug caps. All right, cap's still on there. Made some super duper safe pliers to grab these. Can I just whip this off with my hand? Make sure I don't damage anything. It's like, it's not slathered in RTV. I've seen worse, but people get a little bit carried away with RTV or FIPG, whatever it's called. It's a little bit of a tight fit back here, so I had to go make a different safety non-scratch tool. All right, we have safety tool number 3. Let's see if we can get this one in there. Tool number 4. This one probably is not going to fit, but I don't have anything else left to try. Aha! Oh, good gracious. All right, let's get this thing back in here and set that in there. Put this on top of it. I try to do these just a little at a time. Make sure I don't over torque anything and get it cocked. All right, now I'll step it up all the way. 144. All right, a little bit of FIPG, I believe is what the cool kids call it. Actually, it's what it's actually called. Right there at that seam. And then it needs some heck on this other seam, which is hard to get to though. Oh, crap. Instead of dumping dust everywhere. think that was actually just about the perfect amount. Now the other one. Keep setting things down in random places. I didn't think were random. I can't find them. All right, going back on with this bad boy. Just gotta make sure we don't knock dust everywhere. And then we gotta check, hang on, let me check one more thing. All right, we've got everything cleared out. All of the surfaces cleaned up. I get all these little washers on there. Get all these valve cover bolts started. Oh, that's not good. One of these bolts is shorter than the others. Freaking crap. That is definitely not good. Not to worry, I found the reason why one bolt was shorter than the other. At some point in the past, someone had pulled the ignition coil bolt and got it mixed up with the valve cover bolts. So I got the correct ones and put them all back in place. So now we have all the right bolts where they're supposed to be. All right, now onto the driver's side. Gotta do everything again, but for this side. But I did it once, so maybe it won't be as bad. It's just easier to get the spark plugs out this way, but I feel like if you touch anything, you're dropping gunk down on top of this. Because this whole silly thing, all these wiring harnesses and crap are just dripping with dust and gunk. Yeah, these spark plugs look not the best. I'm glad I'm replacing these. Because this one has so many weird long extensions. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this one. All right. Ah! That was almost disastrous. Holy smokes. That was almost really bad. Jeez Louise. It's just kind of a bummer, but all I need is just this one last bead. All right, I think we're ready for the valve cover now. All right, squeak this valve cover in and not rub our FIPG everywhere. All right, get some bolts on there. Oh wait, there's a vent plug thing that goes back there. I gotta find that. All right, start snapping some things back together. I don't know why my light is flashing at me. What in tarnation? Oh no, that looks like a broken sensor. Looks like I may have to find out where that came from. Oh, freaking crap. Maybe right there? Looks like the hole might have popped out of. Oh goodness. All right, we'll start putting other things back on. All right, realistically, these can only go one way, which is pretty cool. Go this way. I'm sure they used to attach to that old system. Well, seems like they go this way. I did actually manage to drop one of these things and still haven't found it, so it's kind of tragic. This is mostly so I remember how this goes. I'm just taking this off to clean it because for some reason I just clean things. Except for the house. If you ask my wife, I probably don't clean things. Just kidding. I clean the house sometimes. Usually have to be held at gunpoint, but I do make efforts. There's a little air hose there. Slide that off. All right, so screw there, screw here, a little air hose there. Can you see all that? Yeah, okay, we're good. And then that air hose here, I'm sliding that off. Now I can spray this with a cleaner. I did this one off camera. I think I'm going back on the same way it came, which is good. All right, got that one. Aaron Hernandez gone forever. Almost had to refer back to the footage. But it's okay, I remembered. Just barely, but I did remember. Dude, if people walk by, they probably think I'm crazy. I'm like talking to myself. Of course, I probably do that normally. I'm not getting those things too tight because this is, I assume, a cast aluminum block. And they're not really meant to hold up to that much pressure. Come on, baby. All right. Good as new. Now, about ready to pop that bad boy back on, I think. All right, so I just took the tape off. Sorry you didn't get to see that. I totally forgot to turn the camera on. But I think I'm about to just start bolting stuff back on until I get stumped. And then I'll go back to Timmy the Toolman and see where I went wrong. But yeah, we're just gonna start throwing stuff back on here. And see how far I get before I get stumped. Something breaks. I can't find a wire to connect to something. We'll see how it goes. Alright, looky there. We got a bag of bolts. See if we can figure out where in the world all of these things go. Wow, we have got 3 different size bolts, 2 nuts, and a bolt that is like 40 feet long. Well, let's see if we can figure this out. So, there and there. That looks somewhat correct. If you're rebuilding something and it does not look like this, I question if you're actually rebuilding something. Alright, so I put back on the lower plenum, and the service manual called for 3 bolts and 2 nuts. And I had 4 bolts. And I just spent the last like 15 minutes staring at the engine like, where in the heck does this bolt go? I was about to go back to my computer and try to pull up all of the old footage to see where did this come from. But I finally found it. Don't worry, it goes right here. It holds this bracket back to the lower plenum. So that is a huge relief. It goes right back here. All right, let's see. Brass transfer 4. I wonder if they made this head gasket for like multiple engine models. I don't know. It's interesting. Alright, we have 2 longer bolts, which most likely go here. Yeah, yeah. Easy peasy. And then the shorter bolts here. Hope it's not for me. Swear I didn't do it. I don't know if I can hear that on the mic, but it was a siren in the background. Alrighty then. Oh, fiddlesticks. Almost forgot the gasket. I think 2 vacuum lines on this thing that were quite difficult to get off. So I'm hoping to get those back on without too much issue. Alright, I finally got all those pesky air tubes on. It's 10 millimeter. Well, actually, this was a 12. Never mind. The 10 has disappeared multiple times in this engine. However, I managed to find it. I conveniently labeled all of these things to where I should be able to just pop them right back in place. So now begins the fun part. See if I labeled everything correctly. That looks fairly self-explanatory. So I didn't label it. This one looks pretty self-explanatory as well. Alright. I labeled this one 1. So that's good. This is also 1. So that is good. Oh no! Which one was 1? Just kidding. All right, so we finally got all the parts in. Got a new radiator, got the new engine air hose, engine air intake hose. That was difficult. But I thought about trying to get an external transmission cooler and bypass the transmission cooling portion of the radiator. But I did a little more digging, and basically, if you're doing steep inclines or pulling a trailer or something like that, just the external transmission cooler might not be enough cooling to keep your transmission cool. So basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace the radiator and keep it like it's supposed to be. And then in addition to that, later on, you can add external transmission cooler on top of the transmission cooler in the radiator portion. So we'll probably do that in the long run, but right now we're just gonna replace the radiator. So yeah, I think I have everything. Hopefully we can get the engine done today, and then ball joints, bushings, whatnot can come another time. Let me double check connections before I start filling up this gap in here. Might have some other stuff. Oh, there's like a knock sensor. Crap, I forgot about that. There's a knock sensor down here somewhere that I think ripped out, or the plastic just broke. Fiddlesticks, I'll have to fix that. So I found this little thing. Actually, this was in the engine and I couldn't see it, but I found one of the connectors dangling down and it looked like it had a broken piece of plastic. I don't know if you can see that. But I started looking around and I found it. It's like freaking crap. So before I put all of this rest of the hoses on and whatnot, oops, I went ahead and took the sensor off. Thankfully, O'Reilly had one in stock, so I got it. Now we'll put this back on, and then we'll try to finish the engine and whatever else is left. All right, driver's side wheel well. Let's see if I can fit under here. All right. All right, so I'm gonna tighten that up. That is it. You just plug the wire back into it, and that is your oil pressure sensor switch, I do believe. Now mine only has 1 prong, which I think you can see in there. If yours has 2 prongs, then you have to get the switch that has a light and a gauge. Mine's just a light, so that was the difference. I had to take this off to get to the fan shroud bolts. And this time I actually have 4. Imagine that. Here are the transmission cooler lines. I'm probably just gonna take these right back off because I'm gonna have to do a transmission fluid flush. But for now, call that good. All right, that one. Man, we're getting close. So the next stuff is actually to put the grill back on, put the bumper back on, the skid plate, put the battery in. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the airbox system first, and then we'll get to the rest of it. But I'm also probably going to flush the coolant, flush the transmission lines, flush the power steering fluid, because I gotta put the power steering rack back on, but that might be tomorrow. So airbox is the goal for now. All right, well, now, I am missing the clamp. Let me, we'll try to find it. I think it's inside. We'll figure it out here shortly. Oh, I have to give me one of those. Crap. I'm missing a bolt on, I have this one, but not that one. And that's a definite necessity. I mean, it fell down here, but I've looked for it for like 30 minutes and can't find it. All right, can confirm it goes this way. Couldn't find the extra bolt, but I torqued these two, and that one I can get to after the airbox is on, so. Remember how I was always saying, what, 1 step forward, 4 steps back, something like that. I totally forgot to put all of the belts on. I missed the step in my little notebook. I had it, I just skipped past it. So we're gonna have to take a few things back off to get there. Might be a little more work, but such is life. I did not mark them at all, but I think this is the alternator belt. Forgot to have a little adjustment on the alternator. Finally found a handy thing online that tells me which belt number goes to which system, because I did not track that when I was taking them off. Now, the last one. Almost. All right, did some tweaking on it. Let's see if we got it now. Oh, it's so close. Freaking put the AC lines like right in front of this hose, so you can't get to it with a tool. Back in we go. Let's get this air box back on. All right, almost done. This will be a different one. All right, so I think we're pretty much done. I have to wait for this PCV hose before I can crank it up. And I think there's one more thing I'm waiting on, but I might go ahead and just do oil, transmission fluid, what I can while I'm waiting on those parts. But we're getting there.